Welcome back to JB Reviews. I have a used 2023 Nissan Frontier Pro-4X, and we're going to do a towing test with this truck. Now, I don't have a lot of time, or I got a lot to do in this video and not enough time. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go ahead and check out some of the features on the inside for towing. As far as the numbers go, this is going to be a mid-size pickup. So you're going to have a gross axle in the front at 3,296. The rear is 3,434. Payload capacity is 1,050 pounds. So it's not a lot of capacity for a truck like this, but this trailer is about 3,600 pounds. With me in here, if I had my family and some gear in the bed, I would pretty much be at maximum capacity. So you probably want to skip the Pro-4X and go with something maybe a little bit more geared towards towing. There is no trailer brake, however, with this pickup truck. Push button starts here. And tow mode, so we're going to click that button. There it is. So it says tow right there. It illuminates in green. I just didn't see it. So you do have some auxiliary gauges that they have too, and we'll kind of check those out, but they don't give you an actual number. I like to see a specific number so you can kind of gauge what you actually have. Backup camera. This screen is definitely already outdated for 2023. Now, in the last video I had said that you couldn't get a full screen, and I was wrong. So you can get a full screen, and when you back up, you can kind of see right here, right there, that should be good. And mechanical parking brake, I love that. And that's pretty much it. So as I said earlier, no trailer brake. So I have my Curt, so we can at least have some type of input from the trailer. Because this is over 3,000 pounds, you have to have something. I did have to borrow this hitch from one of my friends here at Jerry Signer, Matt Tilton, and he was gracious to offer that to me. So you do have a 7-pin, which we're going to be using today. 4 pins right there. I think the receiver hitch, which is a class 4, is an option on this truck. Now, this tailgate is assisted, but you will not be able to let it down with this setup here. But let's go ahead and measure, because we want to see how much about 380 pounds is gonna drop this truck. Out back, they are using 4 leafs in the main pack. Bilstein shocks because this is a Pro-4X. Let me grab my tape measure. Let's use 35 1/4. Okay, 35 1/4. So it dropped about an inch, 34 1/4. I'm happy with that. I am happy with that. So I wish I could raise the hitch a little bit, but we should be fine. We should be fine. And you want the trailer to kind of be like this going down the road, because the freshwater tank is back there, and if you plan on, filling it up, it's like 36 gallons. Yeah, that weight could make this feel kind of squirrely, especially without a weight distribution hitch, which you don't really need on a trailer like this. But let's go ahead, get down the road. Let's see how it does. Trailer brake on. See if it stops the truck. Stops the truck. So that's working. And let's go ahead and reset the trip here. So it does keep time, and it does give us the MPG too, which I like. As far as the mirrors go, let me see really quickly. These mirrors, they're adequate. This one over here especially, I feel like I have a lot better visibility versus this side, because you have the awning over there too, so that kind of sticks out a little bit. But you can see around the trailer. It would be nice, just talking out loud here, if every truck had convex. I don't understand why manufacturers don't do that. I know that this is not a truck that people are gonna be towing with, but for the people who do want to buy small trailers like this and tow with it, it would be nice to be able to have that, you know, that feature. Ooh, I did bottom out a little bit, so yeah, the trailer is definitely a little too low. But yeah, we're good. We're gonna head on the interstate. I gotta set up the draggy so we can do a 0 to 60 run. So let's go ahead and do that. Here we go.
$30.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel the trailer back there. So I've towed this trailer with my wife's Wagoneer. I've towed it with my HD trucks. And my wife's Wagoneer, I can get up to about 67 miles an hour, and then that's when it starts to feel squirrely. Now there's no water in the freshwater tank. There's probably like maybe 10 gallons. I'm going 60 miles an hour, and I'm starting to think I should go slower than that. Actually, I'm going 58 miles an hour. And, whew. Yeah, she's swaying. And it could be a combination of things too. Like, this truck doesn't have a long wheelbase, so it has a short bed, and that's gonna really affect towing for sure. It's 102 degrees outside too, so this engine's gonna be put to work. V6, 3.8 liter. Let's talk about that for a second really quickly. So here's a 3.8 liter V6, naturally aspirated. It's gonna be good for 310 horsepower, 281 pound-feet of torque. All that power goes through a 9-speed transmission, which is pretty interesting because I believe the Titan has a 9-speed transmission as well. I'm actually gonna get off the interstate because I can't go any faster than 58 miles an hour. Like, yeah, the trailer is definitely wagging the tail. Now, it doesn't look like it's that windy outside. It's probably like 5-10 miles an hour, maybe in that ballpark. But yeah, I'm gonna get on a different highway that the speed limit's about 60 miles an hour on, because I don't want to go 58 on a road where the speed limit is 70, because that could be a little dangerous. So let's just get off, and I can probably go 10-15 miles down the road here, and then we can make our way back. But I do have it in the tow mode, as they call it, and I'm pretty sure that just changes the shift patterns. It's possible that it locks you out of the 9th gear too. Sometimes when you're towing with a gas truck, it'll lock you out of the top 2 gears, so it kind of keeps you in that broadband. They don't show you, let me see, I'm gonna put it in manual mode. Okay, so it says that we're in 6th gear, all right? So I'm gonna go up, slow down a little bit. So that's 7th. We're still in 7th gear, 6th gear right there. All right, let's see. Let's see if it drops down. I'm gonna coast a little bit. Yeah, I think when you use that tow mode, it locks you out of the top 2 gears, which is probably a good thing if you live in an area like this. When you have mountains or you have grades to climb, and you're on the highway, you're probably going to want to stay in a lower gear because it's going to give you better acceleration. But I'm going to accelerate really quickly. Yeah, it has no problem accelerating at all. So this little naturally aspirated V6 does the job. But stability, you know, let's talk about that for a second. The pros and cons of off-road trucks are you typically do get a more robust tire, but you do get a softer suspension. The Bilstein shocks are going to be a little bit softer, so it's going to give you a better ride on the road, and it's obviously better for going off-road to have a softer shock absorber. But that does translate into more sway. I've noticed that in the Ram 1500 Rebels. Those trucks do have considerable sway with the Bilsteins, and I almost wonder if it's just too soft. But so far, I mean, this truck is showing 11 MPGs on the clock, and that was with the acceleration test. Now we are going up a small grade here, and you know, the transmission is not busy at all. I feel like it's holding the gears well. The interior is pretty quiet for the most part. And if you're, see right now I'm going 65 miles an hour. And I almost wonder, because there was a lot of cars on the highway, so you have some draft. I bet you that's what I was feeling. Now every once in a while, you can probably see my head moving too. Like my body's swaying in the seat. Like right now, like right there, it's swaying. And it could be, it's a little windy today. Not much, but it is a little windy today. But going 65 miles an hour with no traffic in front of me, this is a great truck to tow with. Like I really feel comfortable. But if you have to go 70 miles an hour, yeah, this would be very uncomfortable. Like at 65, that's all of it right here. And that's on a road where, you know, there's not a lot of traffic and the speed limit is 60 miles an hour. But I would probably say 55 is max for something like this. This is less comfortable for me. And I'm used to driving big trucks. So when I tow this trailer, I forget I'm towing it sometimes. Like I'm like, I have to look back at it to make sure it's still there, because I don't really feel it. Unless I fill the 36-gallon tank, then sometimes I'll feel it kind of shake the truck a little bit, like if we go over a bump. But cruising like this, it's not even back there. With this truck, you can definitely feel a lot more sway. And the suspension, the wheelbase, those things are factors with that. Oh man, the brakes feel amazing on this truck, by the way. Really good brakes. Like, I wanted to say when I had my Nissan Pathfinder, I mentioned in the last video I did on this truck, I had a 2001, and it was a really reliable SUV. I got probably 18, 19 miles to the gallon, and I was using mid-grade. If you use 87, I feel like I would get about a mile or two less, depending on what fuel station I went to. But that's something I like about Nissans, are if you use premium, you will get better fuel economy. I've always noticed that. Like some of my friends had Infinities and they've kind of mentioned the same things in the past to me. But I want to show you guys some of this acceleration next here. Just probably about 30% throttle here. Great shifts, smooth transmission, great power. Like this is not a turbocharged engine. Like it's really good. And about right here, that's when you start to feel that sway out back. About 60 miles an hour, I'm gonna go ahead and lock it in here. So 62. And we're kind of going up a small incline. But yeah, this is a really good truck. Like I gotta admit, they just have to maybe give it stiffer sway bars. I almost wonder, why don't manufacturers do that? Like have like a setting on the stabilizers to allow this truck to have a little bit more stiffer feel, like if you're planning on towing. That would be something cool, I think. In case anyone was wondering what the tire pressure is, it's 52, 51 up front. And it looks like it's supposed to be around 35. And then out back it's showing 49 all out back. And it's showing 35 on the screen. Now I don't know if that 35 means that's where the tire pressure is supposed to be at cold. It's in blue, so it says 35, 35. So I did show you guys the payload, so maybe I'll show it to you here maybe again. But yeah, what I might do is, we've already driven almost 12 miles. I'm probably gonna jump off somewhere, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and top off at a gas station. That way you guys can see the fuel economy with the truck, real world. So it won't be much mileage, but it's showing 11.2 for MPG. I don't trust this computer. I know that's not right, because yeah, I don't think that's right, especially with some of the grade climbing we've been doing. So yeah, maybe I'll do that on the way back. So I might go down this road for like another maybe 15-20 minutes, okay? We have to discuss the tires on this truck. These are the standard ones that come on from the factory. Hankook Dynapro AT2. And it's gonna be a 265/70/17. And then your capacities are right there, 2,679 pounds. And hopefully you guys can see the kilograms there. 1,215 at 51 PSI, max. Made in America tire, which I love. And they do have a nice aggression to them too. This is my first time actually driving the truck in this video, so I'm actually looking forward to the noise on these tires. I've never seen this before ever in my life. This is really cool. When it just went up an incline, instead of it like trying to drop down and get me back up to speed, it just kind of maintained the speed that it dropped down to, and as I got up the incline and went back down, then it went back up to 60 miles an hour. I've never seen that before. That was cool. I'm not sure if it did that by mistake, but I think most manufacturers should do that, because when you're going up an incline using cruise control, like, it shouldn't try to get you back up to that speed, because you're just using too much fuel economy at that point, and it's just better just to stay at that speed until you get over the incline, basically, at the top, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. But I just refilled, reset the trip, and we're gonna head back the opposite direction. We're gonna see just how well this truck will do on fuel economy, because I don't trust the computer. The computer's already at 9.1, and I know this isn't right. So we're gonna at least check it, because I don't wanna give you guys a false number, because 11.2 is where I ended off, 11.7, excuse me, is where I ended off at. I'm not saying that this truck can't get that. I'm just saying I've towed this trailer in the past, and I've gotten nowhere close to that with even my diesel truck. So yeah, although I do have I'm not gonna lie, I have a lead foot, so. But we'll pretty much end off with me showing you guys where we are for fuel economy. But I'm gonna show you guys some downshifts. That'll be the last thing you'll see. But I want to do some manual downshifts so you guys see how strong the transmission is. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. We gotta see what the sound level is. Wow, 63.5. About 72 under acceleration. 66 normal. I can't do the back though, unfortunately. I'm too afraid to look back, because actually no, I'll do it. This truck is just so... Now it keeps downshifting now. I spoke too soon. So 62 out back. Now I'm gonna show you guys the downshift. We're getting off the interstate right now. I'm gonna go ahead and start downshifting them in 6th gear, 5th gear, 4th gear. There we go. 3rd gear. Starting to decelerate a little bit. A 2nd gear. It's not that strong. So you're gonna definitely have to really monitor your speed when you need to slow down. But this trailer is only about 3,500 pounds, as I mentioned, so you really are gonna depend a lot on the brakes on the trailer too. I mean, this trailer is so light. But let's go ahead and top off. I drove 23.6 miles, so that should give us a good idea of the fuel economy. So 2.330 is what I topped off at. It was like 1.9 and I put a little bit more in there. So 23.7 miles. Divide that into 2.330. So 10.2, 11.9. So as soon as I was driving, I could instantly tell that the trip was way off, because typically when you're towing, it kind of takes a while for it to get up to 10 MPG, and I was at like 10 within like 2 miles. So that's still pretty dang good. 10.2, that ain't bad. I would venture to say you could probably get 11, 12 with this truck, because I've actually had a few people who rented this trailer from us who had these. 2 people actually, and they both said over 12 miles to the gallon. I think one said about 13, the other guy said about 12. But hope you guys liked the video. If you do want to tow the truck like this, you should go back and watch the first video I did. I kind of discussed a few things that you need to know, and I will attach that video at the end of this one. Peace.